Maono sent me some stuff. So let's check it out. So thank you, Maono, for giving me the opportunity for testing out this XLR/USB microphone paired alongside your audio interface. I just want to add a disclaimer that Maono did send me these products, but there were no money transactions involved whatsoever. And they're also giving me the opportunity for giving a complete honest review. So all my opinions stated in this video are my own opinions. Maono does not get to see this video before upload, and they do not in any way influence any of my opinions. I also want to say this is my very first time using a microphone through the XLR option paired alongside an audio interface. I have never really used an audio interface with as many features as this one, so let's see how things go. Okay, starting off, we have the Maono PD100x in black in RGB. We also have the Maono Caster G1 Neo, and they also were kind enough to send me an XLR cable. Since anything relating to mics are pretty new to me, I'm just that guy that usually does the plug and play, so we'll see how these ones work out. Now with the unboxing experience, let's start off with the two microphones. These two are exactly the same when it comes to features. One is a stealthy black and the other one is a faux RGB. It's just that the faux RGB one is only available in America, as from what I've seen. The unboxing experience is a little bit different, where one shows the full manual before opening the box and the faux RGB one doesn't. Both microphones are packed in a very similar fashion, where both are covered by a plastic bag where the arm is facing upwards. Inside these extra boxes, there are some accessories. It looks like to be the stand for the microphone and a USB-C cable. And that's it. There's nothing else that seems to be there. So that's what you get. You get the microphone, you get the stand, and you get a cable. So these mics do not have XLR cables that comes with it. They are sold separately. The cool thing about these USB-C cables is that there's an adapter on one side that changes it from USB-C to USB-A. So I think that's pretty neat to have. Next, we'll unbox the audio interface. Just a heads up, this is my very first audio interface, so I'm not sure how difficult it is to set it up. Someone that's never set up an audio interface. From what I read online, all you would do is just plug it in and then it should be ready to go. This audio interface is pretty clean in this white colorway. Seems to be a really good build. It doesn't seem too cheap. You can see the XLR cable will go there. Lastly, since I don't have any XLR cables, I reached back out to Maono, seeing if they would be kind enough to send me one to use this microphone set to its fullest potential, and they did. They sent me an XLR cable a couple weeks later, so this is what that is. Once you open it, all you get inside is the XLR cable. Looks like they have their own Maono Velcro ties too, so that's pretty cool. And let's set this up and get this working on my MacBook. Okay, so we're gonna go over this microphone in general. I'm gonna be speaking to this one, but using this stealth black one that they sent just to showcase what they have. At the very bottom of the Maono PD100x, we do have the XLR cable port, USB-C, a button to change the different RGB light strips around the microphone, and also a headphone jack. The microphone does come with an arm and a stand, just so you can leave it on your desk standing, but you can also detach the feet and have it attached to a boom arm like this. So with dynamic mics, you do want to consider speaking to the top of it just to get that better quality sound. So if you do have it standing, just make sure the top of the microphone is pointing towards you. But if you do have it hanging, just make sure it's pointed down towards you as well. The Maono PD100x does have a mute button at top. This knob controls both the gain and the audio input, and you would just tap the knob to switch between the two. This USB/XLR mic can be used with the USB-C cable alone. If you do connect it to an audio interface through the XLR cable, then the audio interface will primarily control the microphone. But if you do want to keep the RGB, you could plug in the RGB, but just note that any of the controls on the Maono PD100x will not work. You would have to control it through the audio interface. For example, right now I have the USB-C plugged in with the XLR cable, but these controls, once I'm tapping them, they do not work. You can still hear me if I'm tapping the mute button, and if I'm controlling the gain and the volume, you can still hear me. So for me to control that kind of volume, I would have to use the audio interface. So we can go over the audio interface a little bit more. From left to right, we have the 48 volt phantom power. That phantom power essentially means that some more powerful microphones does need that 48 volt phantom power. Fortunately, the PD100x doesn't need it, but having that phantom power option on the audio interface does give you alternative options if you want to try out stronger microphones. You have more alternative options in the future if you decide to switch to a microphone that needs that phantom power. The next button is the Bluetooth button. So this whole interface can be controlled through Bluetooth, so you wouldn't need any wires. So that's really cool, clearing up some desk space if you want. But since this is my first time using an audio interface, I did just want to connect it through cable just to try to get it working first. Now under those two buttons, we do have the microphone gain fader, where I can control my volume as I'm speaking. I can decrease it all the way down. And like I said, that fader can go all the way down where you can't hear me anymore. Next to it is the headphone source, so you can hear sounds coming in. Right now it is at 0, just because I don't like hearing myself as I'm speaking, but I can increase this. Now I can start hearing myself. The only reason why I don't like hearing myself is because my thought process starts slowing down when I hear myself, because I guess I'm processing too many sounds, so it can get a little bit confusing. Under those two, we do have the microphone mute button. So once I hit the microphone mute, now you can't hear me. It again, and now you can hear me again. Next to it is the headphone source to mute whatever is going through my headphones. So now I can increase this and decrease this, but I won't really hear myself. Over to the right side, we do have 3 knobs at top. We have the gain, reverb, and headphones. With gain, is essentially giving it more power off the fader. So now I can increase my volume. So I'm speaking at the same volume, but it does sound a little bit louder. So I'm going to turn it back down. The reverb gives your voice an echoey sound. So now you can start hearing my voice echoing through space. So I don't really like hearing that either, so I will keep that down. And headphone source, again, is just an additional knob to give you more sound to come through your headset. Now moving on to like the cool square rectangular buttons. Under those 3 knobs, we have noise reducer. Right now I have it on the max noise reducer just because there are a lot of sounds coming from outside my window. But right now this is noise cancellation off, so I'm not sure you can hear anything else. You do hear more of a buzz coming from a computer. So once you hit it again, it will be at noise cancellation low, where it lights up white. This is the low option. And this is the high option, which I'll keep it there just to avoid the buzz coming from behind me. Next to it, we have the voice changer button. So we have the first option being female.
This is the female option. Next one is the
male option, and the one after that is the baby
option, and the last option is robot.
So I'm pretty sure you can hear my voice changing 4 different options. So in the robot option, it does sound like Saul.
And now we're on default, back to my own voice. But next to that is direct monitor. With direct monitor, it essentially plays your own voice back to you, and it gets very confusing for me, so I'm going to turn that back off. Now I can hear myself think. The next buttons we have are sidechain. From what I read, sidechain essentially means that as you're speaking, if you do have background music playing, the background music will fade out as your voice stays the same volume, but when you stop speaking, the background music does go back up. So essentially it just keeps that constant flow, which is great for streamers to use as they're playing games, so that when they're speaking, the game volume would fade back and their volume would stay at the same level. But as soon as they stop talking, the game music will go right back up. One of the last labeled button is RGB. There are several different alternative options for RGB. You can change it to the rainbow colors that they have now, and you can cycle through them to see what kind of option suits you. There are fading options where they change to different kinds of colors with different kinds of flashing patterns. And as you cycle through them, it can turn off completely, or it can stay at rainbow. The next 4 buttons took a while for me to figure out, just because this is my first time using the audio interface, but these are essentially 4 loopback buttons. Those 4 buttons are essentially just loopback buttons that you can record your own sounds to, and then you just press it and then it'll play. So essentially, this is the Maono bundle. When they are not on sale, the microphone is $60 and the audio interface is $62. The bundle together would cost around $120. But as of right now, there is a limited time deal where the microphone is $39.98 and the audio interface is $49.59. So bundling those two together would be less than $100, which is a great deal for anyone starting out streaming. They want to give audio interfaces a try. Again, I like to say this is a great bundle, and thank you, Maono, for giving me the opportunity for me to put front my own honest opinions on the product. They are great. They do feel a little bit plasticky, but no matter, the features that they have kind of overcomes that and makes it a great starting bundle for streamers or gamers that want to put a little bit more effort into their streaming or gaming with their friends. All right, and that concludes the review between the Maono PD100x and the Maono Caster G1 Neo. And if you're planning on grabbing either one of these, comment down below what kind of feature you're looking forward to, or what you even look for in a mic or an audio interface. We're also getting really close to 500 subs, so as always, a great way for you guys to help support this channel is to give this video a like and subscribe. Thanks guys, peace.